recently just posted a #1 best-selling product in each category at Sephora on my channel. So naturally, I did some research on the #1 best-selling product at the drugstore, and today we're going to do a full face of that. Now, criteria. Sephora was a little bit easier because I could just go to the website and sort by bestsellers. Since there's so many stores that sell drugstore products, I referenced Ulta, Target, and Walmart's websites for the bestseller, and if there was one product that was repeatedly in the top, that would be the one that would be chosen. So for example, we're just going to get started with primer. The #1 best-selling drugstore primer is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. Now, for reference, this was the #1 bestseller at Ulta and Target. Walmart has something different, can't remember what it was. I think it was like L'Oreal or a Maybelline one. So if two of the stores have the same #1 product, then that is what I went with. Got it? Make sense? Good. Now I think you're gonna see a lot of e.l.f. today. I definitely saw a lot of e.l.f. pretty high in the rankings for almost every category. They're the best-selling, most popular, most viral drugstore brand right now because they really do create very affordable products at a great price, and they're also targeting the high-end industry and kind of duping those products or giving you similar products to that. So the catch behind this one is it's really grippy, really sticky. It's supposed to help makeup last longer. I think this is great for oily skin. I do have dry skin. It's not as hydrating as I would like for it to be. But no, I mean, this is an exact dupe for the Milk Makeup Primer, and I can see why this is the best selling. It wouldn't be mine, but I'm gonna give this a couple minutes to set. I don't like it when the makeup's really sticky. I find foundation hard to blend. So does this deserve to be the #1 bestseller? I guess. I'd pick something different, but sure. In the order that I just normally do my makeup, I'm gonna skip over to brows. So the #1 best-selling eyebrow gel, I can't believe it, is the NYX The Brow Glue. I was hoping we got over this. I was hoping it would be viral and then just quickly teeter out here. No. At Ulta and Walmart, it's the #1 best-selling brow gel. If you can't tell, I'm not happy with that because I do not find that this brow gel holds for me. I'm really going to try and get this in there to make sure we get the best hold possible, but my brows always fall with this brow gel. It just doesn't hold the shape that I normally give it, but so many people love it, so obviously I'm on the outs here, but I don't know. Drugstore market when it comes to brow gels isn't very good, but there's still a few that I like. Was it Walmart? I can't remember. It must have been Target. But at one of the places, the #1 best-selling brow gel was the e.l.f. Brow Laminating Gel. I was hoping that would be it because I think that it's better than the NYX Brow Glue. So for me, not my cup of tea, not a strong enough hold. It just doesn't set. It is very sticky, but it doesn't set, so my brows fall in the direction that they want to fall in. And I keep this brow gel in my collection because it is so popular, even though I don't like it. There has been numerous video topics where I've had to use it, so I keep it for videos, but I do not care about this brow gel at all. While that sets, we're going to move on to the #1 best-selling foundation at the drugstore. Oh, you guys are going to hate me. I don't have it, but I have plenty of experience with it, so I'm excited to tell you about it. It's the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundations. It was the #1 bestseller at Ulta and Walmart. It's super smooth on the skin, really perfecting. The only reason I don't have it is because it just got old and I decluttered it, and I'm constantly getting new products, so I didn't repurchase it, but it's one that's on my list to repurchase it because I do enjoy it so much. I'm gonna apply the L'Oreal True Match, same brand, and we're gonna pretend that it's the Infallible Fresh Wear, but Infallible Fresh Wear is better than the True Match. So does the Infallible Fresh Wear deserve to be the #1 best-selling drugstore foundation? I would say so. It is gorgeous. That foundation is absolutely competitive and even better than a lot of the best-selling high-end foundations. I'm not surprised at all by that. It is gorgeous. It's one where when I decluttered it, I felt sad and I wrote it down that I need to repurchase this foundation because it is so good. I mean, L'Oreal has some hits and misses in their line, even in foundations, but they really do have a good formula base down for their foundations because even this True Match is so pretty on the skin. But the Fresh Wear, even better than the True Match. So the number one best-selling brow pencil, I thought it was interesting. The number one bestseller at Walmart and Target was the e.l.f. Instant Brow Pencil. I love this, but I looked and at Ulta, it was randomly really low on the list, so I was like, I mean, I don't know how their algorithm works and exactly how accurate it is, but I think their algorithms, they have some accuracy to them because I was seeing a lot of correlations. So I thought it was weird that this was so low at Ulta. And then the number one at Ulta was the NYX Micro Brow, but it was also very high, like ranked second or third at Walmart and Target too. So it's definitely between the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil and the NYX Micro Brow, which does not surprise me at all because they're both very, very good. But since the e.l.f. was number one at two of the places, I'm going to use that one today. And I think both of those deserve to be in the exact positions that they're at. They both have very different shapes of the actual product. The NYX is smaller, so it's better for more detail work. I don't like the e.l.f. here with the NYX Brow Gel because it's having trouble really filling in the area. I do not like this NYX Brow Gel. It's already fallen. My brows don't look the same. They're not pressed against my face anymore. But I do love this brow gel for quick days, and then for days that I need a little bit more definition, normally when I have on a harder eyebrow gel that's not going to have as much give, then I'll go in with the NYX. So the NYX will be better with the NYX brow gel. Anyways, both really good, just depends if you want a fatter tip or not. But the e.l.f. one, ridiculously cheap, just FYI. Concealer, the number one best-selling concealer at Walmart and Target is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. It's the one that will come with a sponge. I just ripped mine off. Now, do I think this concealer deserves to be the best seller at the drugstore? Number one bestseller, I don't know about. I can name a couple other concealers from the drugstore that I personally prefer, but to be a bestseller on the top list, that makes sense. I think it's a really easy to use concealer. Their shade range is so versatile. You can use this product for so many things, not just concealer. You can use it for cream application. Have they made a blush version of this in the same packaging? They really should if they haven't already, because you can use this to brighten, to color correct, to contour, and it's a really thin, easy to use formula. And I'm not knocking it at all by saying it doesn't deserve to be the number one, because I even use this in my makeup kit when I was a bridal makeup artist. It's just as a concealer, it doesn't give the most coverage. What's nice about it is how lightweight it is, but it's not the most smoothing concealer out there. So while I do believe this deserves a place on the bestseller list, maybe not my number one favorite, but very, very good. Super lightweight and very versatile, will blend into the skin very easily. Gorgeous product. I'm gonna skip over to highlighter because that's just the order I want to do things in, because by far the best-selling highlighter can be used for more than just a highlighter, but a glowy product in general. It's the L'Oreal Gloomy Lotion. It was number one at Target and Walmart, number two at Ulta. The number one highlighter at Ulta was like kind of random, which is why I didn't mention it. So I'm going to use this as a liquid highlighter today, which is not how I normally use this product. I like it all over my face or mixed in with like a tinted moisturizer because it's a gorgeous glowy lotion, as they call it. So I've never used this shade before. I'm gonna use Fair Glow. Like I said, this is not normally how I would use this product, but I'm gonna try it since it was the number one best-selling highlighter. And powder highlights, there wasn't really any at the top, so I was like, okay, I guess powder highlights are out on the drugstore market. So I'm pretty careful with liquid highlighter. I feel like it normally messes up my base underneath. So I'm gonna treat it like it's going to. But this product is gorgeous. It deserves to be a number one bestseller. I'm surprised it wasn't in the primer category on these websites. It was in the highlighter category. I don't think it's very pretty as just like an illuminator here for brightness. It's pretty sheer, but don't let that scare you. This is an amazing product underneath makeup and it's really hydrating. It's one of those products where you just can't believe it's an affordable product or that it's drugstore because the quality of it is that of high-end products. Definitely deserves to be a top seller at the drugstore. I do wish there was some powder highlight options though that I could have chosen from for this step because it's just not doing this product justice. But we do have some brightness, we do have a pretty glow here. But use this as a primer, whereas it mix in for foundation. I mean, it works like this, but just not how I would choose to use it. Before I set my under eyes with powder, I do want to put on a liquid blush. I have a liquid and a powder option. So the #1 best-selling liquid blush, to no surprise of me, is the e.l.f. Liquid Camel Blushes. And these deserve to be the #1 bestseller. They are a crazy good dupe for the Rare Beauty liquid blushes. This was #1 at Target and Walmart, and it is just gorgeous. It doesn't mess with powder underneath. If you do have powder underneath, I want my base to look good, so I'm not putting powder underneath because my setting powder has a little bit of coverage to it. So I'm using the shade Peach Perfect. And this is a part of my regular makeup routine. I use this blush a lot, not just on days where I'm choosing to use drugstore makeup. It is literally a top contender of all liquid blushes for me, so I use it all the time. It beats out some of my favorite high-end ones as well. It's just so good in performance. It varies in how much pigment you get based on the shade. Like this shade Peach Perfect is definitely on the lighter coverage and less pigment, but I like that. I like a buildable formulation, but then you do get some colors like I have Pinky Promise here. This one does give a lot of pigment. And it's just melting into the skin like butter. It doesn't act funny with powder either if you have a little bit underneath. Definitely deserves to be the best seller at the drugstore. Again, another one that I don't have it, but let me tell you why. The #1 best-selling setting powder I'm honestly shocked by is the Maybelline Fit Me pressed powder. And you can get that at Ulta and Walmart. The reason I don't have it is because I used to have it, but I decluttered it. And it was a good powder, but it wasn't anything that stood out to me. So I didn't feel the need to repurchase it for this video. But I can tell you, it is a nice setting powder from the drugstore, but it's just not as blurring as the Maybelline Fit Me loose setting powder. So I didn't purchase that pressed powder because I think the loose is better. It's more blurring. And this was the #1 best-selling at Target, by the way. So she's just better, in my opinion, but the best-selling one is the pressed, for some reason. So the reason I put down all those liquids first is because this has some coverage, so it can get a little funky with products you put on top of it. So how I like to do this, because baking can be intimidating, you want as thin of a layer of the powder on a puff and wipe off all the excess. And this will help if you have more mature skin. It will make baking more of a possibility and less drying, because it's not as thick of a layer as normal baking would have on the skin. Then I put some right here because this is one of the most blurring powders, in my opinion, on the market. So in my opinion, does the pressed powder deserve to be the #1 bestseller? But the loose one does. I'm just gonna apply a small amount of that. I don't want too much powder on. And that was just to smooth everything out and set it. Now the best-selling bronzer, between the 3 retailers, it was kind of all across the board. It was something very different for each one, and then they just all had different lists. So I went ahead and went with the #1 best-selling bronzer at Ulta because I truly feel like this is probably the most popular drugstore bronzer right now. It's the NYX Buttermelt Pressed Powder Bronzer. I have mine in the shade Deserve Butter, which is a little bit deeper than I prefer, so that's my bad through purchasing it. So I'm using a really fluffy brush to apply it. So one thing I will say about this bronzer is it is very buttery. It has a nice easy blend, but it also is a little bit pigmented. So make sure you go with the lighter color than you think, because I hate when a bronzer gives me a brush mark. When I apply it, I just get a little bit too much off of this, which would be okay if I had a better color for myself. But regardless, I tend to prefer a sheer but buildable bronzer, so this isn't my cup of tea, but I do see why it's a bestseller, because there is something really buttery about the blend of this I would say I prefer this formula in the bronzers because they do have this in a bronzer format. The drugstore, in my opinion though, they have a lot of really good powder bronzers. So the market is not short for good bronzers in the drugstore front. But this one right now has that virality, which is why I think it's the #1 bronzer. I'm just gonna take a little bit of it underneath my lip to get a little bit more pouty. But they do have a lot of shades of this bronzer. It's not one of those ranges that has like 3. So for me, it's an okay bronzer, but so many people love it, and I can see why. And then powder blushes. So this was consistently #1 across all 3 retailers. So it's the best-selling powder blush. It's Milani. It's the Luminoso blush. Here we are. This is Luminoso. This is definitely the best-selling powder blush shade at the drugstore as well. It's this gorgeous peachy color. I'm gonna use this same hourglass brush because I would just want a dusting of this since I do have the liquid blush on. But this gives a gorgeous peachy hue to the tint. It has a subtle gold shift to it. Luminoso has been the best-selling blush at the drugstore for years and years. It's a beautiful formula. And even if you don't get Luminoso, like I showed you Berry More, they have gorgeous colors in the range. It's a baked blush with some gold veining in most of them. And it's really soft. It's not glitter free, but it's pretty minimal when it comes to the glitter. Does this deserve to be the best-selling powder blush at the drugstore? Sure, I'm not mad at it. It's a really good, reliable formulation. There's a lot of other good powder blushes at the drugstore too, but I'm not surprised this is #1. And to finish off complexion, we have setting spray, which was the e.l.f. Power Grip Dewy Setting Spray. This was #1 at Target and Walmart and #2 at Ulta. So it's a bestseller for sure. For setting spray, you can see I've used quite a lot of it for somebody of my collection size, but that's because I hate the sprayer on this. I feel like I have to, it's so soft. I don't feel it spraying on my face, so I have to do like 20 squirts, because I like to get my face really wet with the setting spray to really soak the powders in. So I hate the mister on this, but I do think the setting spray is really gorgeous for a glow. I don't notice it doing too much in the way of longevity, but it just gives a hydrated look. It really finishes off the makeup, kind of pushes everything in. I don't think this should be the best #1 best-selling product. I think it is new, so that plays a part in it. I like the Milani setting spray personally. Catrice has a good one. To me, those should be the best-selling, but this is still really nice. No complaints for me. Now, the best-selling eyeshadow palette, with all 3 retailers, it was all across the board. There really wasn't any consistency. So I just went ahead with the Target bestseller because I had it and I love it. Well, some shades. The #1 bestseller at Target are the bite-sized eyeshadows from e.l.f. I don't love all of them, but the shade Truffle I think is great, so I'm going to use that one today. No, I'm lying. I'm going to use the shade Cream and Sugar. I'm feeling this one today. Cream and Sugar it is. I'm going to start off with this shade. These are dirt cheap. I don't think they're the best eyeshadow palettes at the drugstore, but they're so affordable and the value of these is really good. For the quality that you get for under $5, really nice. Truffle is my favorite one, but I do also like this one. Jalapeno, the other one I showed you, not my favorite. I'm going to use a really light hand in the darkest shade. Blend that. I don't want today's look to be too dark. But yeah, these are fine for a quick little pickup. You can make these work. I'm not going to say they're the best quality in the world. I don't think they deserve to be the #1 bestseller at the drugstore. And they're really not, honestly, just at Target. I'm going to use the gold shade all over the lid. But you can see they definitely get the job done. That is quite pretty and simple, isn't it? I'm going to take the shade here. Run it along the lower lash line as well. And then I'm taking the lightest shade and I'm going to use that to highlight my inner corners. Oh, this is nice and bright. So yeah, I mean, I'd rank these like a 6 out of 10 quality-wise, but you can't beat the price. You can't beat the size of these. They're so tiny, they're so lightweight. But I'm not a big drugstore eyeshadow person anyways, if I'm being honest. For me, eyeshadow is one of those categories where I choose to splurge on. Oh my gosh, eyeliner. I am so mad at myself. At Ulta and Target, it's the NYX Epic Ink eyeliner. I know I have this eyeliner. I just think it got misplaced in my move or something, because I was literally swimming through my collection yesterday looking for that eyeliner and I cannot find it. And I refuse to replace it or purchase it again because I know I have it. I just don't know where it's at. It's got a really nice fine tip. It's nice and black. To punish myself, I will not be using an eyeliner in replacement of it. I'm just gonna go into this dark eyeshadow. But I'm gonna talk about the formula with you. I think they've changed the formula over the years because it's a very good drugstore liquid liner no matter what. But I feel like it kind of transfers a little bit. It used to not, but it does now. And that's on more strenuous days. I have days with it that it's just fine. But it doesn't seem as long lasting as it used to, because years ago I used to really, really love it. But that being said, I do think it's a good option from the drugstore. It's definitely a go-to for a lot of people. But I do have a couple other drugstore liquid liners that I use over that one. So does it deserve to be the #1 bestseller? No, but I can see how it has ended up that way. Mascara. Now, the #1 best-selling mascara I've never tried before. It's the Maybelline Lash Sensational Sky High, and it's #1 at all 3 retailers. So I had this one. It's different packaging because the shade is Cosmic Black, which I think might have a little bit of glimmer in there. I don't know. Same formula, though. I might have tried the original one in the past because the bottle looked familiar to me, but let's refresh my memory if not. Let's see. Really flexible wand. Now this is the first time using it and first time opening it, so it's going to be a little bit more wet, if you will, than as we continue to use it. There's pros and cons to that. Like if a mascara is a little bit dry upon opening, I'll like it better, but it also means the chance of it flaking and drying out is a lot higher. This one is giving more wet, which I don't love because it'll make the lashes a little bit heavier. But the lashes look soft, but since I need mine to hold a curl, I don't like when it's wet. So to be honest, this is the #1 best-selling drugstore mascara, and I'm not loving it on the first try, but I'm not going to knock it yet. It's too early to tell. So if you've tried this mascara, let me know what you think. I gotta do this off camera. This wand is so long, I'm struggling to get it to reach to my lower lashes. I was trying to wait for the mascara to dry so I can curl it and let you know, but it's so wet, it's taking forever to dry, so I'm just going to do my lips. I also noticed with this mascara, it wasn't getting clumpy as I tried to build it up, but it also wasn't building up to what I wanted it to. So I'm on this so far. But we're going to finish off with the most popular lip product. So the best-selling lip liner is the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liners. This was #1 at Ulta and Target, and then #2 at Walmart. And these are really good. They last a long time. These deserve to be the best-selling lip liner at the drugstore. But for color reasons, I'm going to go with the #2 option because following closely behind the matte suede lip liners are just the original lip pencils from NYX. These have an amazing color shade range, so I just want to use the shade Nude Beige for my look today, but suede is #1. But these are like #2 in popularity, and these deserve to be. They have the best color range, and the suede has a little bit more smoothness to them, but the original is also so nice. This is a perfect contour shadow shade, and then I'm going to warm it up, deepen it up with a little bit of Nude Truffle from NYX. This is just the regular lip pencil. I got stuck here. Give me a sec. There we go. And now, I was really looking at all of the lips, and it's confusing because there's so many different types of lip formulations. But what I came to the conclusion for is matte lips are not in, or like lipsticks, they just aren't popular. It was all about the glossy lips, whether that be one of the lip gloss sticks, super wet glossy lipsticks, lip oils, lip glosses. The glossy lips were what was best selling across the board for lip category. So I went with the best selling lip oil lip gloss because I think that's what people are doing now. Lip liner and then a gloss over top. And the best selling gloss and oil was the e.l.f. Glow Reviver lip oils. This was #1 at Ulta and Target. I'm gonna use the shade Red Delicious. And these are nice. Like, people are saying this is a dupe of Dior. To me, it's not, but it is a really good lip oil and it's affordable. So I can see why these are the bestseller. They're nice and comfortable. These are a good pickup from the drugstore and they're glowy. So these are really great. They're not my all-time favorite lip oil, but there it is, the throw of the product on accident in every video. But anyways, yeah, these deserve to be a really good, well-selling gloss/oil formulation. Yeah, I tried again, FYI, with the mascara to curl it. It's too wet. I need a mascara that dries down fast so that I can curl it right away. And then my lashes clumped because I tried to curl it anyways and it didn't really do anything because it's too heavy. Why is this the #1 bestseller? Overall, a full face of the #1 best-selling drugstore product in each category. I mean, my makeup looks awesome right now. You definitely could not tell that this is drugstore makeup. It could be high-end luxury. That's how good these products work. And you know, the technology for making makeup nowadays, they've got it down pat. It is hard to create a bad product nowadays. And the leading drugstore products are so good. They definitely are competitive with high-end products, so don't feel bad about purchasing drugstore because they're kicking butt. Though I will say, real expensive drugstore nowadays. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful and entertaining. Make sure you check out my full face of #1 best-selling products at Sephora. I would love to hear your opinions. And have you tried any of these products? What do you think? I'd love to hear down below. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye guys, have a good one.